Um, so the young lady from the Daily Caller will be there on Saturday. So let's talk about some pros and cons. What is the pros? The pros are it's usually free. The It usually typically goes to a direct hot audience, like to somebody who'd be directly interested in your product or services. And then it lingers forever, right? You typically a podcast doesn't go anywhere. Somebody can go back and play an episode that's, a year old. I do that all the time. I watch, Tucker Carlson or Candace or whatever. They're, the old podcasts, whatever. So what are some cons? Anybody have suggests thoughts about why not good? Why would media coverage not be any good? Anybody have thoughts on that?
I would say when it comes to that, you have to be careful how you use your words because they can twist them up and turn into something totally different.
That is the number one. Um, it's super important that you know the true intention of your interviewer, because they can do that and then they can make you look ridiculous. And we see that all the time on the news. And it doesn't matter if you're watching Fox or CNN, everybody does it, right? They take something out of content for clickbait just so you can click on it and so their numbers are up. So I had a so the I use the NRA range headquarters for our classroom. So I had to go through their department and I had to get approved so she can come sit in my classroom, right? So I feel pretty comfortable with her today. But has anybody been on local television for your business? I want to talk about a little bit about how to get on local TV. And it's not necessarily for your gun training. Super important to hear that because a lot of local radio station or not TV stations, your 7 a.m. TV show is not going to promote your business. Go take gun training, right? Maybe if you're, like Randy in West Texas, they will, but here in the East Coast, they're not going to do that. So you have to come up with an angle or a story that they would put you as the expert, right? So I have a quick little video here. As always, if you could be so generous and give me a thumbs up that you can hear it, it's not very long.
You how you can do that. Please make sure you subscribe to this channel. I post videos just like this. If you are not
I watch my videos on 2.0. I don't have time. You don't want that speed. Let's go back to normal. There we go.
currently getting your business or your brand in the local news, then it is a good thing that you're watching this video because I'm going to tell you how you can do that. Please make sure you subscribe to this channel. I post videos just like this one every single Thursday. If we have not met yet, my name is Christina Nicholson and I help business owners and solopreneurs earn exposure in the media without spending money on ads. And in this video, we are focusing on local news. Yes, I know it is lovely to get those big national hits in the Today Show or on CNN, but let's keep it real. Why should they cover you if your local media isn't even covering you? And let me tell you, the local news, that is your low-hanging fruit because you are most newsworthy where you are. So let's focus on local news for this video and how you can get coverage there. I'm actually going to share an example from one of my media mentoring clients, Jessica Stansberry. We started working together on a Monday, and by Thursday morning, she was on live TV in her local market. And her local market is Charlotte, North Carolina. That's the 23rd largest market in the country. So not bad for her first media experience. And I'm gonna break down how we did this and how you can do it too. So the first thing you need to ask yourself is what makes this story local besides you? So we have you. Clearly you're local, that's why we're interested. If I live in South Florida and I go to Charlotte, North Carolina, they're gonna be like, why do we care about you? You don't even live here. We can just find somebody else who lives here, who's local here, to talk about whatever you're gonna talk about. So yes, you're local, that's great. But why should the local people care about it? Like, who is their audience? You have to have a local angle or it's not gonna work. The second thing you're gonna need is the newsworthiness. Now, this is where everybody messes up. You need to educate and entertain your audience. Everybody messes up on this because they just wanna promote themselves. Well, it's not the media's job to promote you. They're gonna send you upstairs to the sales department to buy a commercial. You're gonna pay a ridiculous amount of money and nobody is gonna pay attention because if it's on TV, they're gonna fast forward it. If it's in the newspaper, they're gonna ignore it because they buy the newspaper for the stories and not the ads. Come on, people, we've been through this before. So you need to be newsworthy, educational, and entertaining at the same time. So let me tell you how this worked with my media mentoring client, Jessica Stansberry. So she wanted to reach out to people and let them know you can be your own boss. You can start your own business because she's somewhat of a business coach. She has made a living online, living in a teeny tiny town of like 500 people, but she is making 6 figures by teaching people how to rock businesses online because she's done it herself. So what we pitched to Charlotte was, it's getting to be summertime and kids are getting out of school. So what are moms gonna do? Well, they can start their own business and make extra money at home. So this is newsworthy for a couple of reasons. One, we have Jessica, who is local to the Charlotte area. She lives about 3 hours outside of Charlotte, actually, but that is her local TV station. So we got that. The second part was summer. Moms are gonna be home for summer because the kids are off school. So that's a timely angle. That is newsworthy. That affects everybody in the market because it is summer and moms are gonna be home. And then we also pulled some hard facts, and this is where the newsworthiness also comes into play. We pulled hard facts on how more moms are starting their own businesses, more people are becoming freelancers, and more moms are making more money. So I think it's like the stat was 4 out of 10 women in the household are now the breadwinners. So we used hard stats from hard news to make it newsworthy. And these were recent. Like, we did a Google search on this information and we filtered the results to the last month. So we made sure these were recent statistics to really make this story newsworthy. Now, before I go on, let me know what you're interested in. Are you interested in local TV? Local newspaper, local magazines? Let me know in the comments. I will respond to every comment that I see because they are all different. Like, TV is very different from newspapers. It's very different from magazines. I'll give you some pointers if you let me know in the comments what you're interested in. Is it TV? Is it newspapers? Is it magazines? I really don't do radio. I don't do radio. So if you say radio, I'm not gonna be able to help you. I don't know. Do people listen to the radio anymore? I don't know. I don't do radio. So let's stick to TV, newspapers, and magazines, okay? Let me know in the comments. Number 3, why should this story be done right now? Again, I gave you the example with Jessica. We focused on school is about to be out in a couple of weeks. It is summertime. Moms want something to do. They can work a couple of hours a day and make extra money. If they don't do that story right then and there, then they have to wait a whole other year to do the story. We gave it some urgency. We placed urgency on it. We told the producer, hey, you got to do this now, and this is why you got to do it now. Number 4, help the journalist as much as you can. Like, do their job for them. Before Jessica went in, I wrote the entire intro for the anchor. I said, the anchor can say this, you can ask Jessica these questions, you can end with this, thank you, have a good day. When you hand them everything on a silver platter, it makes their job so much easier. I worked in TV for over 10 years. I can tell you, everybody at a TV station is overworked and underpaid. So when you can do as much of the work for them, not only are they going to be super grateful, but they're going to invite you back for more at another date. So if you can help them, give them as much as you can, you're going to be in good shape. And finally, number 5, share your contact information and be ready to go now. So don't just think, oh, well, they see my email because I emailed them. No. Like, share it in the email at the end with your phone number because the media moves fast. Like, sometimes they'll just want to call you. They won't even email you. And you have to be ready now. Like, Jessica and I, we started working together on a Monday. She was on TV that Thursday. I just recently got Amy Porterfield on CNN's Headline News. I literally pitched them on, I think it was a Thursday, and she was on Friday afternoon, not even 24 hours later. I remember many times when I was in TV and people would pitch me and I would respond and they would say, "Oh, okay, give us a few days to get ready." And I'm like, "Okay, clearly you've never worked in the media. You're a terrible publicist." Because I came in at 9 this morning and I need the story to be done by 5 o'clock tonight. I have to air a story at 5 tonight. Like, that's the way it works. So if you are going to pitch something, then you need to be ready when you pitch it because it's going to move quickly. And if you want to earn coverage just like Jessica did, I outline everything that I did from start to finish to work with her. From pitching the media, getting the publicity, and turning that publicity into profit. Make sure you
Hey guys, I'm Ryan Bass. I'm our media director here at Honor PR. Look, you're a startup, you're a small business, you're ready to get your business to the next level. What you need is media coverage. So how do you get there without spending a lot of money? So here's 3 keys to remember. You need a great pitch, you need to do some research going into it, and you need to have flexibility in order to attain that top tier press. Let's start with a great pitch because that is the foundation of your PR campaign. Who are you? What can you provide to the media outlet or the reporter to make sure that you can expand on that topic? Dominating the news cycle is the most important key to making sure that you get that story out to the media and that you are focused as the subject matter expert for that story. So that pitch requires a good storytelling angle, making sure that we can communicate that you are the key expert or the key subject to expand on that topic. You need a great pitch in order to get the reporter's attention to then land that top media coverage. The second key, and this might be as important as the first one, do research not just on the media outlet, but that reporter as well. If you believe you are the best person to talk about a certain topic, research that outlet, see what coverage they've done on it before, research that reporter, see who they've talked to in the past, how they have covered that story angle. That's going to be really key and important for you to make sure that when you do get that pitch in that reporter's inbox, they know you've done your homework and that you are the exact person that they need to speak to for this story. One of the keys to unlocking top tier press is also flexibility. So what do I mean by that? Well, flexibility in your time. As a reporter myself, I work on deadlines. If I need to interview somebody for my story, I need them in a certain span of time to make sure that I can hit my deadlines for that news coverage or that news timely pitch. So make sure you're available from a flexibility standpoint for time. But also, if you can share your expertise on multiple different topics, that will certainly help that reporter or that outlet. Or an infographic. Maybe you put something together. Let's say, for example, you're working in the real estate space. You want to talk about mortgage rates and the impact on a new home buyer. Can you provide that reporter or that outlet with an infographic linking back to your company that can then be used either on TV or in that article? It's really key to be flexible to make sure that you can get in those top tier publications. Obviously, one of the best ways to do it is by hiring a PR firm like ourselves. Otter PR here has a multitude of experts, from PR specialists, media directors, our co-founders, writers, journalists, editors, all of whom can help you become the best in your business by sharing your story with the media. So come join us here at
All right, has anybody even thought about local television, getting up at 5 a.m., driving to the studio? What do we think? I am gonna put this video, the first video, in our chat. She had some really good notes. Actually, I'll put both of them in there if you want to rewatch them and take notes later. All right, there we go. Yeah, Mr. Randy.
So do you have any idea what kind of demographic that's actually targeting? Because I'm looking at my demo right now. It's like fully 70% of my traffic is below the age of 45. 40% is 35 to 26. All of them are visiting our site, 80% via mobile. I just don't know if my customers or clientele are actually up watching more, not just more news, but like, terrestrial TV at all.
So this is a really good point. I'm not really interested in who watches it live because most of the stuff gets put on their YouTube page. And what I care about is when somebody Googles my name, this old video that I did pops up. So yeah, I totally get it. They're not watching, Fox Morning or whatever, right? They sleep. Millennials are sleeping, right? The boomers are up, they're watching, they're drinking their coffee, they're in their tradition. So you're exactly right. It's 100% what I call your who is, or your target audience, right? Most of our target audience isn't going to watch the news, but they are on YouTube. And then I would take the clip of your video and put it on your website. So it just brings not only publicity, but like, oh, this person really knows what they're doing. They were on TV. Um, so I did one. I don't even know if I can still. It was a long time ago. It was on my website for a long time. But the lady had a mask on and it kind of made me mad. It was annoying because I was at home and she was in her office. It's like, why do you have a mask on? So anybody else, if I look for this, I'll find it. I'll play it. What else do you think? Do you think this is a good idea? This is something you should pursue?
I think it does lend credibility, like you said, down the line, um, to for someone to go back and find it. What Randy said, I think that rings true for a lot of us. We're not going to find exactly who we're looking for, but just like wearing your brand out, you'll get people tap you on the shoulder. Same type of thing. You're going to get people that you wouldn't normally think of. We do pretty well with seniors, and I mean that's not the target that I go after, but you know, their money's just as green as everybody else, and they tend to pay attention a lot more.
That's hilarious. And I think I get a lot of referrals from I don't like calling them boomers. The parents and the grandparents. I get a lot of referrals because younger folks, like, I don't know where to start. So they saw us on the news or whatever, and then they would refer us, oh, I saw this person, right? Um, I think I think that's important because when you're referred, again, you come with a stamp. I think a big part of the industry is like what we do is we'll call it scary. So they don't know where to start, so they don't start. But when you come with a stamp of approval from dad, that's a big deal. And I think this is super easy, super simple. Um, I do send a bunch of emails. When I was launching our coaching business in 2020, when everything was shut down, I probably sent like 30 emails to the Top Gun podcasts. I didn't do TV. I just did local podcasts because I wanted other instructors to find our coaching business. And it worked out really well. And some of the guys I didn't even know who was interviewing me, but then later found out they're famous and I didn't have a clue. Thank God. Sometimes I'm glad I don't know things because I would have been all nervous. But I do think this is something to um, at least spend some time and send out some emails. It doesn't cost anything. You don't need a publicist. If you want to go national, maybe, but for your local business, I'm gonna say no. All right, any thoughts? But again, for the love of God, these people need to be credible because they will slice and cut your speech up to make you look bananas. Who does it? Riding with Charlie. He's not here this week, is he? No. Riding with Charlie. Charlie always is looking for people to interview. Um, who else will do gun interviews? Actually, I have a whole list here. If you want to write this down. Pop culture. Arms Radio. I'm sorry, armsroomradio.com. The Reload. Liberty First Foundation. Gun Stuff TV. The Reload. Gun Club Radio. GRWN Grassroots. Meet the Pressure. Pressure as PRESSERS. Pressures. DiversityShoot.com. Forge of Freedom. Eye on the Target Radio. Riding Shotgun with Charlie. On the Range Podcast. MichaelBlaine.tv. Firearm Trainers Podcast. That's a super famous one. That's the one I was on. I've been on there a couple times, actually. Bearing Arms Cam and Co. CAM and Co. Bearing Arms Cam and Co. Gun Talk. I Fear. Oh, Faith Over Fear is the last one I have. She's pretty famous in the gun community. Okay, I paid like $3,000 for this information. I just gave it to you for free. Okay, so go do something with it. I had to go to annual meeting, fly to Georgia to meet everybody. But here's the thing, like the said on that video, you can't go and talk about like come to my class on Saturday. You have to be you have to pick a subject, and that subject will lead you to come to my class on Saturday. talking about women's awareness or self-defense or anything women related, really, like any women classes, all of that's great. People love that. Gun sales, what's happening in your community. Um, but it's just like they said in the video, it's not a pitch for your class. You are an expert in a subject and you're talking about the subject, which leads people to come to your class on Saturday. Has to be news. What did she say? She said entertaining first, I think she said, and then newsworthy, which I thought was very funny, but probably very true. We're a little early today. 8:15. What thoughts? Any thoughts on that? Is that useful to anybody, or does that scare everybody in here to talk to the media?
I think it's useful, but I wouldn't be scared to talk to him.
You can talk to God, Roger. Like
I don't
this is part of your personality. Like for me, I don't like I can do it. I don't love it, but I can do a shot of whiskey then do it,
I think probably role playing with another instructor or somebody that's done it before would definitely be a big help before you did it. Because I mean, if you've ever heard yourself on a video and like you hear your voice, you're like, ah, I sound terrible.
Yeah.
You're gonna eat yourself apart from this interview. So go through it one time, like you said, as a subject matter expert of what you're going up against, and have someone that's gonna like break you down over it. Someone's gonna, like you said, it could be Fox News, it could be, CNN. Somebody's gonna take it from either side and love you or hate you. So that would be find someone to spar with first.
Yeah. So when I went to do my lecture at the annual meeting, I did it at home probably 20 times. Sounding like a crazy person talking to myself. But I went there and I killed it. But because I was prepared. And then the interviews I did there, I was prepared for. You don't walk into something like she said on the video, like you might get called up at, 5 o'clock and you send it at 9 o'clock. Are you ready? Like you have to be ready. And the secret, I don't know if you caught it too, was she sent the reporter the questions and the answers, which is cheating and brilliant because there's no surprises.
Cheating is okay.
Cheating's always, oh, I cheat on everything except my husband. No, I didn't have a chocolate bar this morning. I'm on keto. So I think y'all should do this, but take some time and think about the subject you're going to talk about. And again, anything women related, especially if you're a female or have a female instructor on your team, they want to hear from women or subjects of women. Okay, any thoughts?
All good ideas. I hadn't considered reaching out to do other podcasts. I don't like being in media too much, but necessary evil.
It is. And the reality is, we talk a lot about Google ads and Facebook ads, and I spend a lot of money on them. And as time goes on, like I'm seeing they're less and less effective. And I probably spend $1,000 a month on marketing, and they're becoming less and less effective. And, it's part of business is you have to pivot or die, right? Die on the vine. So getting your face or your voice on some podcasts or local television, I think is really great. And you don't even have to be like on TV. I think even speaking to like local groups, women groups or commerce and business groups and talking about things like personal safety, right? all of that gives you credibility. Like when I went and spoke at an annual meeting, I didn't talk about Instructor Stash a whole lot until the end, right? I told them a problem, their website, right? Their pain point. We call it a pain point. What's the pain point? The pain point is your website sucks and you don't want to do it and they're expensive, right? And then I gave them solutions and I gave them, I think it was like 6 tips to have a successful website, like what to put in your website, what needs to be there for your client. And then we talked about how much that would cost. What does a website usually cost? And then I gave them a solution to all of that. So even if they didn't buy my product, everything else I gave them was real. It was true and tangible information that they could go home and plug in, play onto their own product. That is the right way to sell things. Like there was a lot of speakers there that were super boring and they just walked through whatever they were selling and people got up and left and it wasn't a tangible a takeaway for them. It wasn't, you didn't even tell them why they should buy their product. They were just like, this is how our product works. And it wasn't relatable and it was kind of dry and boring for an hour. So we did a giveaway. I gave away 10 t-shirts. I gave away 2 free years of Instructor Stash. It was fun. So when you go and approach these groups and people, like that's a good, like you're an expert in something. It doesn't have to be your NRA basic pistol course or your CCW class. It can be something else. That's all I got. Any thoughts? Yeah.
Um, we had an incident recently, like locally here, where someone used their weapon to protect property instead of people. And in this state, we can't do that. We're not in Texas, so we can't, use deadly force over property. And that has been such a eye-opening thing when I'm talking to clients. So I would think if you've brought up something to your people, to your clients and stuff like that, make that your focal point because if it's been a topic over and over for you and them, it's gonna pay dividends with everybody else.
Do you know what
It's-
what were they defending? Like their home? What was their property they were defending?
so it was a door dasher and they left their car running and a 17-year-old boy hopped in the car and drove away. And then the door dasher fired at the car as it was driving away. So when we get people in class, a lot of them think, okay, well, I have a hammer now and I'm looking for a nail to hit. And that was the conversation that we brought up. And it's pretty familiar with most people because it was a big news story. So it's a good follow-up. It ties into maybe a clip that the news could already play that they've already had. And you can tie it into that. Um,
Is
if it
anybody hurt?
Oh yeah, the driver is in jail for murder, and the kid who stole the car is dead.
Oh my God.
So I mean,
He hit a moving target?
yeah, yeah, he dumped his
Oh,
mag, and it's it's sad because we're on the cusp of trying to pass constitutional carry here, so a lot of people are holding off on doing things because they don't want to waste the money on a permit. I'm like, well, you're not wasting the money on the permit. You're spending the money, investing it in your education,
yeah.
not, I don't want to give the government any more money than they already have. I was like, you're giving it to someone who's enlightening you.
Right.
So the call to action thing is tough to fight. And like you said, we want to get everybody to just come on, sign up, come in and spend our time talking and shooting and stuff like that. But you really have to tease people with, okay, I'm curious about Lisa. I'd like to learn more. When can I get in her class?
Mhm. Yeah, that's great. The only time I've ever heard that somebody, um, it was valid to protect a property was, this happened like a long time ago, was like this racehorse. The horse was worth like $1 million. And somebody, the stable hand or the owner, or somebody in the barn
Mm.
shot and killed somebody trying to steal this horse, and it was a big deal, but they eventually, like years later, said he was allowed to protect this property because the value was so high. Now, don't ask me questions. I don't remember what state it was. I don't even right. I don't even remember what year it was. But that's the only time like I've ever heard like you can protect property.
Well, a lot of people are very protective of their animals, and their dog is like a family member or whatever. So that's also another good thing to research in your state, and that would be a great thing to present because it it welcomes you into the conversation because you're talking about their little fluffy pet,
Hmm.
and then you're like, well, did you know that although that might be your kid, in the eyes of the law, they don't see it that way. It's property.
Right.
It's a lawnmower to them.
Right.
It's not your family member.
Right.
So
No, 100%. 100%. Any last thoughts? I hope this was useful. So sometimes I find like my Monday trainings are like what I'm personally going through, or like it's like you read the chapter ahead and I'm just teaching you what I'm trying to figure out. So I hope that was helpful. I hope to have you have some updates for you next week. I have a lot of homework to do. I have a lot of work to do tomorrow. Um, that's all I got. Anybody else?
When is your
Appreciate
next
it.
instructor course?
July. May, June, July 11 and 12.
Okay.
Are you coming back to sit in?
Me and Jamal thinking about coming.
Because you miss me so much? Like
We
what?
think about coming. We think about coming back to sit in.
Okay. Be happy to have you.
All right.
Oh, the girl from Daily Caller just emailed me. Okay. She's confirmed.
Good luck with it.
Yeah, better get him to do my hair. Can't wear a hat. Not a hat day. Okay, guys, that's all I got, unless you got anything. I'll see you next Monday. I am going to take I'll probably take two Mondays off in June. Just keep that in mind. We'll be traveling a little to Florida, see some in-laws and some ocean. So just keep that in mind. All right, y'all. Okay. I'll see you next time. Go try Instructor's Dash.